swear I took one of these chairs out of work to swear.
Hi, everybody. So welcome to the Boost Media webinar. We've got a lot of things to cover today. I have invited Rob Lenderman, our co-founder, to the webinar to discuss some big updates as far as the Boost Media company. And he'll go over the change we're having, as well as payments and what to do with your tax forms and all that good stuff. So Rob, take it away.
Hey everybody, this is Rob. I believe I've spoken to some of you before, but not all of you. I'm one of the founders of the company, and I run product and engineering and spend time with the network quite a bit in the early days, but now Devin and Ashley take over. So I wanted to talk about a couple of different things that are happening today, and sort of the past, how we got here, and the future. And what this means for us. So I want to thank all of you for being part of the network, working hard. I know we're trying to build something that is difficult, and it can be difficult on you. And I ask that you be patient, give us good feedback, do your best. Things are better today than they were 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. And so we'll continue down that path so that this is a long-term, larger opportunity for everyone. So our business is comprised of essentially three things. It's enterprise work that many of you have seen. It's Microsoft work, and it's Google work. And we're one of pretty much zero companies that work with Microsoft and Google on this kind of stuff. And they believe that our approach of using a scalable network with technology for workflow and technology for quality is the way to go. Behind the scenes, those two, especially Google, are doing things that involve large rooms of people writing things in a language that's not their native language, and they do an okay job, but we don't believe it's as good as it could be. So the business operates on those three areas, and part of that is about scale, part of that is about quality. As you've seen in our enterprise business, we have tools that are coming online that are about insights and understanding what's working and what's not working and why. And traditionally it's been, to the network, it's been do your best shot. And those tools we're working on behind the scenes are going to be hitting the interface for all of you in the coming months. That's sort of what gets to the part of what we want to talk about today, which is Boost Media was incorporated in 2008. We raised our first round of financing in 2011 after a couple years of my money and some other people's money. And we have reached a point where we've had, a roller coaster ride in many ways, but we reached a point where we're on a big upswing. And what's happening today is Boost Media will no longer exist as of this afternoon. And AdLabs.ai will exist as of this afternoon. So what that means for you is pretty much nothing changes. So the software is the same, the people are the same, the network is the same, everything is the same. The reason this is important for us to not only change our name, but change ownership of the company, so that the new owners are different people. The reason this is important is that it sets us up for two things. One is presenting the company in a more sophisticated way. I think what we're seeing in the marketplace is that the idea that humans alone, with no help from technology or from the buzzword these days is AI, humans alone is not the greatest path to take. However, we're also seeing that AI alone is not the greatest path to take. We believe that the greatest path is to let humans do what they're good at and let computers do what they're good at. So we believe humans are creative. We believe humans understand businesses. They understand emotions. They understand a connection. We believe that computers are good at looking at 1 million data points and finding a pattern to help us be creative. And so what today means is that we're moving into an era where we're going to be doing more work in bringing those two together. So what you'll see from a writer's perspective is more insight into the language that's working, more tools to help you scale your work and be more human and less of what the computer does well. It's going to let you operate faster. It's going to allow you to operate smarter. It's going to allow us to expand our opportunities. This approach of layering in some AI and machine learning systems is going to allow us to sell more. We began down this path about a year and a half ago with technology that we began to build, and the conversion today is allowing us to get more investment. So the structure of the company is changing so that others can invest in a logical way that makes sense for them, but gives us more horsepower in terms of resources behind the scenes with computers, with engineers and data scientists to help all of you be better. What we ultimately want to do is continue to drive up your efficiency. When we drive up your efficiency, that allows us to pay more. That's the end of the day. That's part of what we're trying to do with the technology, is to make sure that everyone is making not only has a lot of work, but making a good hourly rate, which is important to us. And if we approach things the way we approached historically, we're going to have a difficult time with that. And we don't want that. So the technology is going to scale everyone better. The relationships with Microsoft and Google are going to give us volume. So that's what's also important about those. I'm speaking with Microsoft today about another deal to come down the pipeline. So you're going to see even more work. Microsoft scaling. Google is expecting to scale volume in a couple more weeks. We also have hired additional people in our sales department for enterprise sales. So you're going to see more customers coming in on enterprise sales that will allow us to provide more and more volume. This change today does have one small impact on you, other than the website and the name change. The impact is legal in nature, and prior to today, all payments have come from a company called Boost Media Incorporated, and everyone has received, if you live in the US, you've received 1099s from us. After today, all payments will come from a different entity, AdLabs AI Incorporated. And what that means is it won't make a change to your PayPal. You don't need to go in and edit any of your payment instructions. You don't need to touch or do anything whatsoever. The only thing that's going to happen is at the end of the year, it will look like you worked for two companies. And that's the only change. You will get two pieces of paper from us as opposed to one. And you'll put both of them on your tax forms in the US. Outside the US, it's dependent upon where you're at to determine how that's done, but you will see all the money still continue to come through your PayPal and or your bank account, which I would encourage everyone to use bank accounts. It's a lot cheaper for all of you, and it works in pretty much every country. And as I said before, this conversion is mainly due to the ability to take on additional investment, to invest in the things that we've been wanting to invest in for a while. Better interfaces for all of you, faster interfaces, improving the experience not only for our customers that are paying us money, but also we view you as customers because you work on the belief that we're going to give you work, and we're going to give good work, and you're going to make good money. So we do look at you in that way. I think that's about it. I don't have much else to say. Or any questions?
Yeah, let's just take a moment. If you guys have any questions about the name change specifically, let's hold the platform questions until later. But while Rob is here, let's ask him questions regarding the name change or payments or the 1099 questions, if you guys have anything about those. Rob, I think that there is a question someone's trying to ask as far as what is the new website? Do they need to go somewhere?
Yeah, so we're going to continue to have the old Boost website running for the foreseeable future. We will turn it down. I It's going to be a while. The new website, however, adlabs.ai, the new marketing, what you would think of as like a normal website, we're working on that now. Technically, if you go there, you'll see it in progress. We just haven't exposed it to anyone other than you, so no one knows about it yet. The website there will go live sometime next week. You'll see it sort of incrementally changing as we go along over the days if you keep looking. That will add in how to log in, so that will change that. Over time, the boostmedia.com URLs, if you've bookmarked it, those will stop working at one point, but they will redirect to adlabs.ai. So don't worry about that.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the question about the login format, nothing is changing.
Yep.
And then Boost Media's website, where you guys normally head to log in, will redirect to adlabs.ai. So Rob, somebody has a question here. Will the bank payments work for Ireland too? I'm using PayPal, but
Yep.
it would work out better if I use my
Yep.
bank details.
Yep, it totally should work. The way that payments work is we use a third-party company called Tipalti, and Tipalti is an intermediary. They handle all the payments. So when we pay on a weekly basis, we hand Tipalti just a chunk of money, and then they know, and we tell them how much to pay everyone, and they know how to do it, whether you're PayPal or whatever. That interface that you have in our interface is actually hosted by them. So when you make changes there, you're telling Tipalti. So bank transfers should work in the vast majority of countries. Sometimes countries have specific rules around it, and you've seen that. PayPal can be difficult. They hold your money. They're trying to make sure you're paying taxes on it. All sorts of stuff can happen, but usually once that's worked through, it's fine. I will have to check on Ireland in particular, but I would be shocked if it doesn't. I would suggest you go into the interface and try to change it to use your bank, and it'll ask you for some numbers, some routing numbers, some SWIFT numbers, things like that. Put those numbers in and give it a shot. We can always, on our side, we can always reverse payments if it's failing, or you can go back to PayPal, but I would encourage you to do that because the money will arrive a little bit faster. It takes like a day or so, but you don't have to transfer it then from PayPal. And I think the fees on most countries are really low, like a fraction of a percent, whereas PayPal is a couple percentage points. So for every $100, it's a couple bucks.
And so speaking of payments, when you guys do start receiving payments next week, next Tuesday, I believe, is when they'll start seeing, like, say you log into your PayPal, the payments are coming from AdLabs, not Boost Media.
Yeah, from their perspective, they won't. I'm not sure they're going to be able to tell immediately. It's mostly about how we do tax forms. So a lot of this is just tax form filing. It has nothing to do with your bank account or anything. So money will just keep flowing. Okay.
Yeah. So nothing's changed. You guys don't have to go in and update your bank info. You don't have to update your PayPal. Nothing has changed. All that's changed is the name, but we are going to, have just the website redirect.
Yep.
Your logins are exactly the same. Don't think that you've got to create a new login for AdLabs or that we have to provide you a new login for AdLabs. Nothing is changing. It's just the name. That's it.
Right.
It's really, that's it. So if there's any more questions about the name change, please ask them in the chat room. If you have a specific question about a country that you live in and your bank account, if you guys could send that to support@boostmedia.com, because we've got a lot of people from all over the world. So if everybody asks about their country individually in the chat room, we're going to miss somebody. So if you have a question about where you live and if you have a payment particular question, just email support. So, okay, so it looks like there's no more questions about AdLabs. I'm going to let Rob go, and Ashley and I are going to discuss the projects currently hosted in Boost Media, soon to be AdLabs.
Yeah, thank you very much for the time today. As Devin said, support is the best place to ask questions. But you're also welcome to email me directly, and it's easy. I have about 10 emails. You can do you can do rob.lenderman you can do roblenderman If you make a guess, it'll probably come in through. And I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions as well. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Rob. And so quickly switching gears, I am going to introduce Ashley. You guys have met her virtually, but she is the new community manager here at Boost Media alongside myself. So let's give her a warm welcome.
Woo. Hi guys, it's Ashley here. I'm sure you have seen my emails coming through. I'm here to help Deb with all the writing and questions and support you guys have. So if you have any questions about the guidelines or bulk writing or optimizations, I'm here to help figure that out. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, great. And so I meant to say this too while Rob was still in the room, but yeah, you can always feel free to email him directly. And then to get a hold of Ashley and I, it's support@boostmedia.com. And don't worry about support@boostmedia.com being a problem when we switch over to AdLabs. All our emails are just redirecting. So don't think like, oh, I need to do support@adlabs.ai or is it adlabs.com? Don't worry about that. Just keep using support@Boost Media. We will get the emails just like we always do, the same old process for support. So don't worry about that.
Oh, wow. Thanks. Also, we just want to reiterate, it's just the name change. And with that comes more opportunities for the writers, which is really exciting. So everything is staying the same. It's just a name change. And then we'll have some big projects coming through with that. So we're pretty excited on our front.
Yeah, so let's talk about those projects a little bit. So as you guys know, we have our enterprise network, which we also call optimizations. I know I always use those two words in tandem, but optimizations is something that's always been there. That's been the core of Boost business, where we have individual advertisers like eBay, like Hilton, apartmentfinders.com, all these advertisers that do ad copy testing with Boost, soon to be AdLabs. So these clients we kind of put on a higher shelf because they pay for ad copy testing within their Bing and AdWords accounts. So if you are currently in optimizations, nothing is changing. New clients are joining this week, I believe, but nothing is changing. If you are in bulk, however, if you are just a part of the bulk programs and you're interested in writing for optimizations, again, email us at support@boostmedia.com. There's always work available in optimizations, unlike the bulk tasks and the template tasks. It's always there. So if you think that your quality, your ad copy quality is high enough or at a place where you feel comfortable writing for some kind of high-end enterprise clients, let us know, and we can take a look at your ad copy and let you know whether or not you need a little bit more practice or if you are eligible to start writing for some of these guys. So again, that's optimizations. Bulk tasks, if you do not have access to this tab, and after I go through what's in this tab, if you're interested, I can add this tab for you. Not everybody has the bulk tabs. Some people just have access to optimizations. That's where they started. But bulk is new projects that have been added to the Boost dashboard, and it's mainly because of Google and Microsoft. We did not have these tabs before Google and Microsoft wanted to start working with Boost Media. So the ones with the little stars sort of indicate that these are special little projects, and you're going to be either working for Google or you're going to be writing for Microsoft. So bulk tasks houses two particular projects right now. And I'm just going to start with the Google stuff. So many of you have been writing for Google IETAs throughout this year, and a lot of you wrote for them last year as well. These projects are coming through again. So any case that gets put into this bulk tasks tab has a number in it. Sometimes it starts with 0, sometimes it starts with a 9, sometimes it starts with a 7. Basically, if it's a series of numbers, that is a Google request for IETAs. So you can see in my view here that we also have our enterprise clients, like Upwork is a client of Boost, that also requests IETAs. These two projects are very separate. And not everybody can see all the projects that are in the tab. So if you're interested in writing for the Google stuff, the Google IETAs, and you don't have access right now, let me know. Also, if you're interested in writing IETAs for some of our enterprise clients, let me know. The only difference between these two is that for the IETAs for Google, you have to follow the Google rules, which are on our wiki, and I'll go to the wiki in a second. You have to follow the Google rules, and then for those of you that wish to write IETAs for our enterprise clients, they provide their own guidelines, similar to what you'd see in optimizations. But most of you, when you log in now, if you go to bulk tasks, you're just going to see the Google stuff, which is fine. And if you don't see the Google stuff and you're interested in working on the Google stuff, please let me know, and I can add you to that group. So the third project we have going is templates. Yes, back by popular demand. Templates is back, however, with a twist. So templates originally were for Google. Google had asked us to make these template ads based on certain categories, and by categories I mean certain industries, business industries that Google and Microsoft, host ads for. Microsoft now has requested the templates for themselves. They saw what we did with Google. They loved it. Microsoft was like, we want to do that too. We want templates too. So the template project is back. The rules are the same. The only difference is we're just delivering to Microsoft this time instead of Google. Now, that being said, we did give you guys the Google ads as a reference because many of the categories overlapped between Microsoft and Google. So we use some of the Google ads to help you guys where you might get stuck on some difficult categories and stuff like that. I did a short little webinar about this earlier in the week. Please do not copy and paste the Google ads. The lead writers will see that and the system will also catch it. We need to give Microsoft fresh content. These are really just meant to inspire you or help you with categories that are difficult. For instance, the people that worked on the Google template project last year probably remember we got some really wacky categories. And when we were doing them in these big batches or these big cases, it would sort of kind of get stuck because all the writers would be logging in and everybody was confused on one particular category. And so we'd be like, why is it stopping at like 102? That's weird. And then we'd be like, oh, this category is really confusing. So we did things a little bit differently this time. We gave you sort of the guided template ads here. And then we also broke up the categories into different cases. So when you guys get that alert in your email where it's like a case is new, it's, begin working, it's us dropping these in, and as well as the Google stuff if you're in that group as well. But just know that we did this to just make things easier.
Ruby said that the examples on the side are really helpful when she's writing.
Yeah, okay, good. So that's good feedback. And that's, again, try and resist the temptation to copy and paste. It's okay to pull some stuff in, but if it really just looks like you're copy and pasting the Google ad, we can't have that because Microsoft, that's kind of not cool to just give them recycled Google ads. So one more thing before I pause for questions, I just want to point out that these three tabs that I just went over, optimizations, bulk tasks, and templates, those basically line up with this vertical list section, or whatever you want to call it, of the wiki. If you're in optimizations, that was the first tab I went over. If you're in Google bulk IETA projects, that's the second tab, and then the template has the third tab. They each have different rules and guidelines. Some people really like writing for the Google stuff because it's very formulaic. It's kind of just plug and play. Some people enjoy the templates because they can be a little bit more creative, but still write a generic ad. And then sort of more of our veteran writers, they probably don't even have to look at this section anymore. But if you're a new writer to the bulk stuff and you want to start working in optimizations, I would read this section first before you ask us if you want to jump over to optimizations. So with that, I'll pause for questions because I know I just gave you guys a ton of information.
Lippy Stick has a question about bulk tasks and having access.
Okay, that's a great question. So Lippy Stick is asking about the bulk tasks, and do we get automatically put into all of these tabs and we get to see all of this stuff, or is there special permissions? The latter is the answer. So you guys are divided into different groups within the Boost Media system. So some people only have access to Google depending on when they joined. Some people only have access to templates depending on when they joined. And then some people have seen webinars for, say, the Google project, but they're only in templates, and they've asked me if they can join the Google project. So everybody's sort of divided up a little bit. If you're interested in doing the Google stuff, let me know, especially if you can just see templates right now, and then vice versa. If you're interested in templates and you're only seeing Google stuff, just let me know. If you want access to all of the projects, just send us an email and support@boostmedia.com. Just keep in mind that you've got to keep the rules straight for each project. Each project has its own set of guidelines here. And again, bulk tasks correlate with the second tab. Bulk task template project correlates with the third tab I went over here, templates. So just make sure you're on the right wiki section when you ask to be added to a group and start writing for that group. And this is a good question too. Somebody asked about foreign languages, or I should say non-English languages. Right now, the current projects we have are just for English. Again, it's we're in that proof of concept stage for templates in Microsoft. They want to see what we can do in English, and then they might expand to other languages. But right now, everything I'm talking about just pertains to English, unfortunately.
And also the password bug they were asking about that we are fixing, and it should be rolling out in the code tomorrow. So the engineers have been working on it all week, and we have confidence that tomorrow when the new code rolls out, we could get those passwords reset so you can log in and start writing again. So thank you for your patience with that.
Yeah, sorry about the password bug, but we hope, like Ashley said, we'll get it fixed. Good question, Keisha. She asks, how long is the templates project expected to last? That's a very good question. They continue to send me categories every week. So for now, I don't really have an answer because they keep sending me fresh categories, and I need to organize them to get them into the system. But I think it's safe to say that the template project will go on through at least Q2.
I think that's a good opportunity too, because the templates are fast and easy to write, so you can knock out a lot in a day, and it's a good opportunity to get extra money and get a lot done.
Yeah, and to kind of point out the difference between templates and bulk tasks, they're very, very different. Google asks for ads that are very formulaic. So, for instance, an IETA, their rules, they really want, brand name in headline 1, and then 2 call to actions in headline 2 and 3, and then a value prop in description 1, plus a call to action, and then some sort of value prop in description line 2. It's very formulaic. So if you're the type of writer that just kind of likes to plug and play and just, kind of get into a rhythm, Google is probably the perfect project for you, because you can really just pull a lot from the landing page and play around with it and just stick with that, sort of formula that they have going. The instructions, again, are on the side of the tasks, but they're also in the wiki. The instructions never change. For Google, they kind of have just the same thing. They want the same type of ad for each advertiser they give us. The upside too, like I said, they have a landing page. We're actually writing for an advertiser here in Google. Unlike IETAs, unlike templates, there is no landing page. You kind of just have to be a little bit more creative. You kind of have to, come up with something that is generic but still pertains to the category enough where an advertiser might want to take it, but there's no landing page. You don't have any help there. So it just really depends on what kind of writer you are and what kind of project you want to take on. Be more formula-based like me, like I just like plugging and playing into the Google, or are you creative like Ashley? You like the templates.
Yeah, I did a couple
She likes the
yesterday, and I
templates.
was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
So it just depends.
Heidi said she likes that we're doing smaller drops into the bulk because it helps her be more creative and have choices. So that's
Okay.
good.
Great. So that's great feedback, Heidi.
Oh, and Ruby.
Yeah, we played around with this idea of doing smaller batches, but breaking them out by category. I think this was probably the right path to go down. If you do still get to a category where you're unsure of, send a screenshot and send it to support@boostmedia.com because likely if you're stuck on it, the other writers are going to be stuck on it as well. So if we have some sort of wacky category that goes through, similar to the last time we did this, send something to support, just send a screenshot or the name of the category, and Ashley and I will try to figure it out and let you guys know.
Also, they were bringing up the issue of the character count for D1, how it was 80 and 90.
Yeah, so that wasn't necessarily a technical issue unless you guys know something that I don't know. For Microsoft, they want the standard IETA where it's 3 headlines, 2 descriptions, and then those 2 descriptions are 90 characters. That's what an IETA is. The descriptions have 90 characters. Google had some goofy character thing with 80 that they asked for specifically. And so we did that special for them. But with Microsoft, you should just see the standard 90 characters for each description. Now, the placeholders, like the name and location placeholders, those character counts are the same as what Google had. So if you guys were in this project before, you'll notice that, for instance, name, when you put that placeholder template in, it takes up all 30 characters. That was the same as what Google had. We're just doing that for Microsoft too because that's what they wanted. But you will notice that there are 90 characters for each description. But if there was a bug or something that you guys were noticing that I didn't notice, let us know.
Yeah, I think there were some issues how writers couldn't submit it at the full 90, so we were telling them to do 80 while we fix the bug.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. Okay.
And then Maria says, is there any way we can know which one of our ads is doing better than the other ones?
Oh, I know you guys always ask for this, and I'm I always tell you the same thing, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I am going to work on getting that feature for you. I assume you're talking about optimizations. There's no way there's no testing in the bulk task stuff or the template stuff. The only A/B testing we do is in optimizations. So if you are an enterprise optimizations writer, you're basically writing a test ad to go up against a control ad. And a lot of writers have asked me, can I see if my ad won against the target that I'm going up against? And I promise I will get this feature going. We've just had so many projects come in from Google and Microsoft. I haven't had a chance to ask the engineers to to scope this out for me yet, but I promise I will get to this feature eventually for optimizations. For bulk, there is no A/B test, so that doesn't pertain.
And then we also have a question, would you accept foreign writers for the new projects as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, Fernanda, if you want to write into support and sort of apply for English, we can give you either a small test or we can give you sort of a trial run with English. Just write into support and let us know that you're interested in writing for English while we wait for the other languages to come through, and we can figure something out for you. And then LibbyStick, the leaderboard. I hid the leaderboard as a tab temporarily, only because to me, I thought it was confusing writers more. The math seemed to really be for enterprise folks. And it didn't seem to be counting the bulk work. I could have been wrong, but every time I looked at leaderboard and people asked me about it, I was like, I don't know if this is counting all the bulk work or all the ads that people are doing. So I ended up removing the leaderboard temporarily, and I'll need to go talk to my data scientist about how we can make sure we're doing the math correctly for those, because I was afraid it was doing more harm than good and throwing people off.
But we do have those opportunities and optimizations. We sent out an email about how Hilton and LendingTree and stuff needed some help writing too.
Oh yeah, so for optimizations, if you guys get an email from Ashley, or if you've gotten an email from Ashley, we usually let you guys know which clients or advertisers need a lot of ads written for them, and then we usually say this is the best way to maximize your bonus. So if you are in optimizations, we sometimes send out an email telling writers that hey, like Hilton has 100 ads to write for this week.
And then they asked, does it affect their score if the time runs out, basically?
No. The timer has nothing to do with your score.
It's just a way to help the workflow.
Yeah, it's just a way to make sure your hourly rate stays up.
Great. So do you guys have any more questions about the current projects that we're working on right now? I'm seeing no bulk tasks found.
Yep. So Robert, we were saying before, if you're not seeing tasks in the bulk task section, that means you're not in that user group. So please just send us an email at support and let us know that you're interested in all the other projects. And then we have a question about Payoneer. I don't think that we'll be adding that anytime soon. We're kind of at the mercy of Tipalti, as Rob was saying, that third party we use to do payments, they kind of dictate, the payment methods, whether it's PayPal, bank account, wire transfer, ACH, all that stuff. So Payoneer, I don't think is on there.
And then Max had a question about his payment.
The contest money, Max, that's something that wrapped up in the end of last year. So I would just send an email to support@boostmedia.com. That was something that was run by another community manager at the time. So just, yeah, I would send an email to support.
And then Heidi had a question about optimizations and how do the bonuses work?
That's a great question. So we're going to be playing around with bonuses for optimizations as soon as we move over to AdLabs. I have to do it, kind of play around with it, because we're going to get a big advertiser soon as well. No, I'm not going to say the name yet.
Yeah,
just
it's a good one.
It's a good one. But I'll get back to you, Heidi, about that. But basically, the formula, or sort of how we do optimizations bonuses, is based on acceptance rate instead of just the the way we did it for bulk in the past. So you write a number of ads. If they get accepted, you get a bonus based on the number of accepted ads.
All right. Do you guys have any more questions for us?
And if you have a very specific question, just email support@boostmedia.com if you think it's just something that pertains to your account. We'll get those emails as well.
Yep. So we'll have that password bug hopefully fixed by tomorrow. And all your questions or concerns about writing in a different platform, if you want to try bulk or optimizations, all those questions and concerns, just put them into support@boostmedia.com, and we'll answer those for you and get everything situated. And we're really excited about our new opportunities with Ad Labs and bringing you guys through those new opportunities with writing. So thanks for staying tuned. And just look out for our updates.
Yeah, keep an eye open for our emails. Ashley will be sending some. I'll send some. So keep an eye out for both. But thank you guys so much for coming along this journey with us. I know a lot of you that are in chat right now have been with Boost for a long time, and we really appreciate you being a part of our team. We really see you guys as team members, as if you were sitting in the room with us. So this is exciting. Ad Labs, the name will change next week. Nothing will change for you. Don't worry about it. It's just an exciting platform for new opportunities. If you're interested in more work in the bulk task tabs, email us. We will get you into those specific groups. And don't forget the wiki. The wiki is your Bible for all things guidelines. If you're interested in writing for Google, if you're interested in writing for the template project, make sure you always read the wiki. It's always up to date. And if you don't have access to the wiki, or your password needs to be reset, that's separate from the Boost Media platform. That's actually hosted by Zendesk. So make sure you can see all of this good stuff here.
All right.
Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. Rock on, keep writing, and we will have another webinar hopefully next week.
Thanks, guys.